Hey everyone, I'm Greg Jones for Engine Builder, and welcome to another episode of Industry Insiders. Today I'm joined by Jillian McLaughlin. She is an engine builder in California. She works at Precision Machine Engine, and we're excited to have her here today. Jillian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I understand we caught you in the car on a couple errands, but we do appreciate you carving out some time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you for being flexible with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Jillian, it looks like you do a number of things in the shop there at Precision Machine Engine, and we want to certainly get into that. But I'd love to start with your background and just kind of, how you got introduced to this industry. What were some of those influences that got you into this and interested in cars and engines?
Actually, I never really was growing up. I actually, like when I was growing up, I used to be a hairdresser before I had kids. A very different side of things. Right out of high school, that's what I did. Then I had kids and, stopped working for a while. And my husband actually owns the shop. Okay. And when I was pregnant, with one of my kids, because I used to do desk work and reception at the salon before I did hair, I just started doing book work and doing the computers at the shop and stuff. And then I slowly started kind of getting interested in it. And he's like so into the scene that you just kind of pick stuff up after a while in general about cars. Like I didn't really know anything before meeting him. So like my parents were never really into it, like brothers, not really ever. So it was like a whole new life for me, but I fell in love with it pretty quick. I did hair, so I've always been very hands-on type of person, learner. Like that's how it's always been. So this was actually like a very surprising fit for me. But I just and then we had some people come in and training me, and I first just started tearing down engines and learning all different types of all the parts, started it from that end and slowly started working my way up throughout the shop and learning more and more and more. So I still have tons and tons to learn, but
right. It's
doing
it. It never ends when it comes to learning engine things.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Jillian, what is your husband's name?
Joe.
Joe, okay. And when did he start the shop? Tell us a little bit about the shop itself and what you guys do.
The shop existed long before us, and it was actually owned by another Joe, and he purchased it from him about 5-6 years ago and has been doing it ever since. He was trained by the old owner on everything. Before that, he had a regular repair shop that he was doing, and just needed to focus more on wanted just to have more of a specialty instead of the general whatever. And he was always enjoyed building engines, and so he took classes and got trained, did an apprenticeship, and we've just been doing it ever since. So
that's awesome. Now, do you guys focus on certain types of engines at the shop, or were you guys working on different things?
We mainly do racing engines, a lot of aftermarket engines, just because, especially in California, it's hard to build a street legal engine in a fun way. So we tend to focus more on race engines and specialty engines with more boost, and it's fun because that's really when I started actually getting more into it. Was the first time I saw like a set of heads I built go down the track and they won the whole event, and I was like, I was part of that. Like, I helped with that. That's so cool. I was like, so that's when we really start like, oh whoa, our stuff's doing really good. Like it's really cool. So satisfying for sure.
Right, absolutely. So Jillian, talk a little bit more about your evolution within the shop. Obviously you kind of had to start at the bottom, just not having a background in it, but obviously Joe was able to help you out, and sounds like you got some training.
yeah, that's what's been really cool, is just having a lot of support and people who are willing to teach you in a way that you learn too. So it's been pretty cool to learn everything. Yeah, I started tearing engines down, learning all that stuff, and then I started doing heads more. Um, because that's kind of where we needed more help at the shop at the time. And so it was easy for me to kind of learn from the person who was doing it at the time, and then kind of took over that station a little bit. And then once I started getting pretty good at that and, really comfortable with that, we just slowly started introducing more things. Now I more do piston and rod balancing, assembling, gapping rings, doing all that stuff, which is that for me, I like a lot because it's pretty rhythmic. It's a lot of just like, you just do it, you get it right. I get every piston and rod to match within a tenth of a gram, balance them to the cranks. And for me, it's like just very natural process, I guess. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
so I really enjoy doing that. And just, fun to make the videos doing those, because you can do those time lapse videos. And
Right.
I do a lot of the social media for Instagram. I do, it's a lot of, and that's a whole nother animal. That's a whole nother job.
Yeah. I can certainly relate to that. Yeah, the Instagram stuff and the social media stuff can certainly be a job within itself, no doubt.
Yeah. And then you're opening yourself up for, everybody on that, so
Yeah.
but it's fun. That's sometimes when we get in like slumps working, where we're like, oh, you get really tired. It's nice to be able to be like, well, let's make a cool video today. Let's see if we can, kind of keeps things motivated at the shop too. Gets everybody excited.
Yeah, definitely. So Jillian, we ran through a number of things that you do at the shop. What is maybe those one or two things that you love the most? What's maybe something that you dislike a little bit?
Let's see. Honestly, it depends on the day, because especially in the summertime, because there's certain areas of the shop that just get hotter than others and you're not trying to do it. Anything, honestly, I'm just not a big fan of. I don't do any of the like actual like surfacing or machining of anything in that sense, because I feel like it's almost too much pressure for me. If that makes sense. You can't take the material off, you can't put the material back on, and I don't want to be the one to screw that up. I don't want to be the one. So I let everybody else handle that part. But for the most part, I've liked everything else that comes with it. There hasn't really been any jobs that I super don't like, except for the days where I like try to look nice and then I come home and I'm covered in grease. But other than that, no.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, I really like doing assembling pistons and rods. I like, gapping rings. That's, those are like, when I know I have to do that day, I'm like, cool, I can just go turn my music on and, get to work and just focus. And those are like easy days for me,
Yeah, certainly.
Definitely don't like when I'm doing heads and I lose like I'll lose like one keeper, and I'm like, no, I can't get that job done now. I gotta go to the motor. I gotta go get the part. But it's like a little 10-cent piece. But it's like, those are the worst.
Yeah, it's a cheap part, but very important. Yes.
And it's so tiny. So if it flies, trying to find it's all another thing. So other than that.
So Jillian, you've been doing this for a few years now, and you just mentioned machining is still something that you're a little nervous about or have some reservations about. But what are maybe some of those engine jobs that you do want to strive for? What's kind of that next step for you if you were looking to do more at the shop?
I would probably want to get more hands-on in the actual like full assembly of the blocks, because I know how to like fully assemble heads. I know how do the top end, but the bottom end, besides assembling the pistons, I'm not, that's something that's probably my next learn how to do step in the shop now after, because I feel like I've pretty much gotten everything else pretty well down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always room to grow and learn, but I feel like that's probably my next go-to is learn how to all different types. Because I mean, LS, I'm get that pretty good, but Hondas and Toyotas and stuff, those are a little bit smaller, a little bit harder to degree in, and so those are the ones I probably want to learn how to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's why that's somebody else's job at the shop right now.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, if you understand what goes into the block and then what also goes into the heads, then you'll be able to put an engine all together A to Z. So yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. So that's probably next step.
Yeah, very good. And now you just mentioned LS engines and then you mentioned Hondas. So it sounds like you guys do some V8s, domestic V8s, as well as some of the import work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite engine style or favorite engine you guys work on?
I would honestly just say probably LS is just because I know them the best, are the easiest, but we do a lot of big block Fords, big block Chevys. But yeah, I would say just honest LS just because it's probably the fastest and easiest to get together and probably easiest to make the most power out of,
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Now, Jillian, a question I typically ask in these is, obviously being a female in a male-dominated industry, comes with its pluses and minuses. But do you want to talk a little bit about that experience for you? Has there been certain things that you've had to deal with, or
yeah, I believe for the most part, it's been a very positive experience, but I think that's also because of the team around me and the people around me. I've noticed, I mean, for me, it's kind of funny when people say like stuff about, oh, it's a girl, she shouldn't be working at the shop, or like, oh, just because it's funny because I mean, they don't know me, they don't know what I know. So it doesn't really affect me in any way. Like I always like when there's some people who are like really funny and they'll make jokes that I'm sure some people would think they're mean, but my favorite one so far has been somebody commented on one video, that's a funny kitchen she's in. I was like, that's kind of a good one. I was like, I guess that's funny. I was like, so at least some people are creative with it, but for the most part, people will joke and say to my husband that it's if he's at the desk, they're like, why is she back there? He's like, no, I put her to work. He's like, I'm trying to enjoy the AC right now, so we make it funny when people say stuff just because it is funny, it's just, it doesn't, everybody's got opinions and we just get done what we got to get done, and engine work speaks for itself. So as long as we put out good, if people, that's just what we do. We just try to put out everything the best we can, and it is what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty black and white. Like you said, either you know it or you don't. And the results speak for themselves for sure.
Yeah. People don't like that, a woman's building their stuff. Well, we can pretend I didn't do it, nobody's going to know when it's in your
Yeah. And then Jillian, you mentioned that you're a mom as well. How many kids do you have?
6.
Oh, wow.
6.
Wow.
Yes. 4 biological, 2 bonus kids.
Okay.
So yeah, all 10 and under. So
wow. Yeah. Definitely has to keep you busy then.
Yes, very busy, working at the shop and all these kids, but we get it done.
Well, could you elaborate on that? Just how you balance all of that, especially with 6 kids? I mean, that's definitely not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a lot, but it's nice because we just honestly, we're a pretty good team. We, I'll take a couple with me, I'll take a couple with him. We've got some in school, so I mean, it's definitely a lot of balancing, and it's a lot of hard work, but it is nice because the kids see how hard we work and they know how hard we work. And I mean, even our littlest, 2-year-old is a little girl. She's over there trying to wrench on some stuff because she's mom doing it. All the kids are, want to help. And even though we had to push a car onto a trailer, so we had 3 of our boys who were helping us push this car up, and they all, as soon as the car's up, they're all yelling and screaming, excited that they're working. So at least they're, they've got a good work ethic out of it. At the very least they're seeing what it takes, and they're already like, oh, I want to own a business when I'm older. Do I get to work at the shop when I grow up? So it seems to be working. It seems to be.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. The shop can probably double in size in a couple of years if you.
I can't wait till I can't wait till the boys can start lifting stuff.
Very good. Well, you mentioned balancing, and what's easier, balancing a crankshaft or balancing the work and home life?
Oh gosh, it's all strung together at this point. It's all rotating assembly. It's all they're all just trying to keep it all going at this point, but it's I mean, if we weren't as good, it's funny because people would be like, how do you work with him, your husband, all the time? How are you around your kids all the time? But it's nice to enjoy being around somebody enough to work with them and raise a family with them to where, I mean, we have our days, but for the most part, it's all about the partnership. It's all about the balance. You take this one, I got to go do this. You go run and get these parts. I got to go and do this. So, but we balance it.
Yeah.
With, we try to get away when we can, but it's very difficult too, especially in the busy seasons, racing seasons. It's
right.
It's a lot of work.
Which we're smack in the middle of race season now. And I was going to ask if you guys ever attend races, or if there's certain racing that you guys like to watch.
Yeah, we have Sacramento Raceway is actually right near us. So we have a lot of customers who they've got test and tunes on Wednesdays. So if we've got customers who are out there, we'll come out there and watch them. Or there's lots of grudge races. Team Bodie comes out here a lot and they race. And there's also, I think it's at Sonoma Raceway. We go out there too when they've got big race events. So whenever there's something, if we have time, we try to, but a lot of times we're just working. But especially if we know that we've got customers out there, we always like to go out there and support them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very good. Well, Jillian, one of my last questions is just, a forward thinking one, in the near future here, you mentioned a few things that you'd like to maybe move up to within the shop. But let me know if there's anything else personally that you're striving for, or just as a shop in general, what's kind of on the horizon in the next couple of years.
Well, we're hoping within the next couple of years to hopefully change locations and maybe find somewhere else to own and operate. So that's kind of what our next thing is probably going to be. I mean, dream life is be able to buy a house with a shop on it. So that way we could just, have it out of there. But that's really our big goal in this, is to hopefully just get somewhere, maybe out of California, see if we can find somewhere middle America to, start a new place over there.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, Jillian, I really do appreciate you giving us some of your time, and I wish you best of luck in all your future engine building endeavors, and I wish the shop best of luck going forward. And again,
thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking with me and having me here.
Absolutely. Thank you.